Welcome to Pilates today, and I have a fabulous hip strengthening and mobility session. So this is actually a really good class if you've had a hip replacement. So we are going to experience some bum burn, but embrace it. It's those glutes that are getting stronger, and we're also going to be focusing a little bit on pelvis stability so that we can keep that joint nice and mobile. So most of the stuff we're going to be doing is on side lying. You don't need any equipment. I, as always, have a block for later, so you might want a cushion for the last exercise, but up until then you probably won't need anything. So let's go on to the side. And we're going to start with an exercise called torpedo. So with the torpedo, if you have your legs in line with the body, that's going to be more challenging than if you have your legs piked towards the front, okay? So you can pick any of those variations. Your bottom arm, you can either have under the head there. You can have the arm bent. This is where I like to have a little cushion. Or if you have any shoulder problems, then you can take that arm away and put a block or a cushion there. So lots of alternatives for the bottom arm. And you just want to take a moment with this. We're never in a rush to get through these exercises, even when they start hurting. So the top shoulder is above the bottom one. Have a look at your hips. The top hip is above the bottom hip. And then your ankles are in line with your hips. So if you're not sure, look up and just have a look where they are, okay? Because the proprioceptors, sometimes people think they're straight and their legs are way back there or too far forward. So actually just check. Now, if you are a little bit more stable, you can use your hand on the top hip for a bit of guidance and feedback, or you can just have your hand on the floor in front of you. If you've got short arms and big boobs, having a block under your hand will just give your arms some length, so you have that option as well. Okay, so let's get started. So from here, as you breathe in, I just want you to lift the top leg, hip height. So we're not taking super high, just take it hip height. And then as you exhale, you're going to lift the bottom leg. Now notice that when you lift the bottom leg, did you tense in the shoulder? So really try and relax over there. And then release the legs down. So lengthen your spine. Think of creating space between the tip of your head and your toes. Top leg floats up, and then allow the bottom leg. And even for myself, as soon as I start to lift that bottom, I can feel gentle pushing in of the fingers. Trying to bring the feet closer together, and then release. So this is why if you take your legs super high, it's like very hard to lift your leg there. So take top one, then the bottom, just hold it there. Relaxing your top shoulder, draw the tummy in, think of length in your spine, and release down. So do one more with the legs in this position. Take it up, and then I want you to hold. So just squeeze in these muscles. Feel what is actually working. Sometimes we race through exercises. Like notice what is actually holding your legs there. So I can feel the bum, the abdominals, and then release down. So now we're going to work two legs at the same time. So I might put my hand here. I feel a little wobbly. Shall we see how it goes? So breath in, lengthen, and then start to lift both the legs at the same time. So you might feel that the inside of the bottom leg's working a little hard. That's fine. And just notice whether you're rolling forward or you're rolling back. Ideally, you're trying to stay stable. Oops, she says. And then release down. So breathing in, lengthen, lengthen, lengthen. And then as you exhale, float the legs up. Try and keep your legs together, keeping them active. Relax your neck, your arm, and your shoulders. And inhale down. We've just got two more. Breathing in. And then as you exhale, float. Relaxing the top half of your body. And then release as you come back down. Good. Last one. So hopefully you're starting to feel it in this region, possibly. So you exhale, take it up. Can you go a little higher? But try not to let your legs split open if possible. Draw the tummy in. 3, 2, 1. and relax. Good. So from here, just bend your legs for a moment. Just give your bum a little rub. And then we're going to keep this bottom leg bent, and we're going to straighten the top leg. So I just need to move my hips. My trousers are getting stuck to the mat. So the top hip is above the bottom one, exactly the same position that we were in. It's just that the bottom leg is now bent, and that's going to help stabilize us. Top leg is in line with the hip. And again, I'm going to have my hand here to give me feedback, but you can put your hand there. So as you lift your top leg, imagine you're trying to reach for that wall opposite you, and you can see how I've got a little bit of space under the waist over there. Hold it there. Now we're going to take the leg a little higher, flex your foot, and pull the leg down. Hold it there, point. Take it up. Now imagine you've got a piece of chalk in your toes and you're trying to draw this line up the wall. So keep reaching out of that hip. Feel how, use your hand, poke your bum. Or matron, flex, pull it down, reach and reach. Point, take it up, flex, pull it down. So Joseph Pilates never did millions of these, because if you're really squeezing all the muscles in your legs and your bum, like even now I'm fatiguing, you will feel it. From there, release. Give your bum a little rub. Told you a lot of bum burn today. So we're sticking with the legs in this position. We're now going to do front and back kicks. So leg is hip height. You point as you bring your leg forward. Now what you try not to do is roll your hip like that, okay? This hip wants to stay in the same place. Flex and then drive the foot back. Now as you take it back, squeeze your bum cheeks, squeeze the hamstrings, and try and balance yourself. And then point, bring it forward. Now what you'll find is that you are going to be off balance because you're lying on the hip, okay? So your challenge is to just use all the muscles to try and help you balance. So don't be put off if you are wobbling, providing you are trying to stabilize, then you are getting the benefit of the exercise. What you don't want to do is just like forward and back and all that. You want to have control of the movement. Last one, forward and back. And if your hip is feeling like mine, it's about to fall off. And then relax. Like I said, Pilates never gets easier. You just get better at it. We've got one more to do with this lying side series, and this is circles. So top leg is straight, point the toes. Imagine you have a little piece of chalk in your toes, and you're just going to draw this very small circle. What you're trying to avoid is the pelvis rocking all over the place. So it might be that you can draw bigger circles, but only draw bigger circles if you can control the pelvis. So be aware of just like flapping around. So pull the tummy in, get this pelvis locked into position. Change direction. Ooh, this is burning. 3, 2, 1. Oh. Good. Just give that a rub. Like I said, excellent exercise for hip replacements, because this is really strengthening all of these muscles that hold that bone into the hip. So we've got one last one, and I promise you we've got a lovely stretch coming for this. So the last one we're going to do on this side is called oysters or clam. So this time the knees are going to stay bent and the feet are under the bum. Now I love using the hand for this one because it's going to give you a lot of feedback. So your hand wants to be on the bony part of the pelvis over there. So gently squeeze your feet together and just start to open that top knee up towards the ceiling. So what you want to notice now is your hand isn't rolling back, I'm exaggerating it. And is it rolling all over the place when you move that top leg? And what you're trying to do is move the top leg without the hip moving, and then bring it back down again. So find the point where your hip wants to move, hold it there. Now can you squeeze these muscles a little harder and take it a little further? We want to find that sweet spot so we can work just outside of the comfort zone. So again, this is not about just, sometimes I see people doing this, it's like there needs to be this control. So allow the knee to come up, keep that hip stable, and then try and move your femur bone inside of the hip, and then bring it back down. Let's do 2 more. And once you're really trying to stabilize, even if the pelvis does move, you're still innervating those stabilizing muscles, so you're still getting benefit. What you don't want to do is just keep flapping the knee up and down. Last one. Like your legs should be shaking you, engaging your muscles that much. And then release. Marvelous. So we're coming onto the back now. We're going to stretch that off. So I like to have a block. You might not necessarily want one. It just depends on your back, or sometimes people need a bit of arm length when they're coming into this position. So we are going to take, I'm just going to turn to a slight angle for you with this one so you can see the legs better. So from here, we're going to take the left leg over the right. Take your left hand and just push that knee away from you. So for some people, this might be enough. Okay. If you want to go one step further, lift your right leg and pull it into the body. Now I have got long arms, so I can hold the front of the leg, but you can hold the back of the leg, or if you still can't reach, take a strap or a towel and just link it in behind and hold it, okay? Make sure that your left ankle is working, it's flexing, and that's going to look after that knee. So we just don't want the leg loose like that. And then gently drawing that right knee in towards your chest. If you've got long arms, and you can think about pushing your left elbow into the knee and trying to send the knee away from you. And now we're stretching into that left hip that we were working with. Be aware that your right knee doesn't rock over to the right. Try and keep your right knee in alignment with that shoulder, and then drawing it in. So even if you can't get into that position, just crossing your legs and coming into a stretch like that, you're still going to get a stretch in the bums. I just wouldn't advise that one for a hip replacement. This one you can do because it's internally rotating the leg, that's fine. And then release it as you come back down. And then, this is where we get to do it all on the other side. And like I say to my clients, just be thankful you're not an octopus. That makes me giggle every time. So we're starting with the torpedo. So we'll be on this side. Okay, just take your time coming into the positions, because like I said, you want to be in the correct alignment before you start. So make sure that your head is not like you're lying in bed. You want your chin lifted. And whichever variation, either the feet to the front or in line with the rest of the body. So you might need to just check. Top hand can be on the floor, or top can be on the hip. Now, you may have already noticed, and I've certainly have definitely noticed, is that I'm already wobbly on this side. So you might have already noticed one side's going to be pretty stable and one side will be quite wobbly. So see if you can identify that. So taking a breath in, reach your body away, allow the top leg to come up, and then lift the bottom leg. So I know already I have got issues on the bottom side, and it's actually showing now. So I'll struggle to get the legs together, and then release down. And I don't want you to look at these things and what's wrong in my body. It's just identify, oh yes, there's a thing over there. Top leg goes up and bottom leg. And it's when you can identify these things, then you can start working. You know, people always say, what should I do for my exercise today? So for me, I know that I need to do a lot of stretching on my back and then release down. So then I'll go and look for stretching videos. And that's how you start to create a program for yourself. Top leg, that is really going to help you. And then bring it down. One more like this, top leg goes up Allow that bottom leg, and then relax your shoulder, your neck. I can feel it all tensing up. So when you have a weaker side, something else is going to compensate, and I can feel it coming into my neck and my shoulders. And then release down. So we're going to change that slightly. We're going to lift both legs at the same time. So this should be fun. Breathing in, lengthen, and then allow the legs to come up. Relaxing your shoulders. You really got to be conscious of the body. And one of the things about Pilates is trying to control everything in the body. And then release down. Inhale, lengthen, allow the legs to come up. And then release down. Huge difference for me on this side. Good. I'm just going to do one more. Now see if you can go a little higher. 3, 2, 1. Ooh. Good. So just bend your legs for a moment. Give your bum a wiggle. So I feel a lot of tension in that shoulder, and that's all because this is weak over there. Isn't it amazing how the body works? So coming into the side lying series, again, top hand can be on the hip or you can have it over there. We're going to start with the up and downs first. So the first thing I want you to do is reach that leg out to the hip to bring you off of your waist. Point your toes, take the leg a little higher. Flex and then pull the leg down. So I like to imagine, you know what it's like to walk through water. It can be really challenging to walk through water. Flex. So just imagine you're pulling that leg down. Point. All those muscles in the legs want to be working. You want to feel it shaking. Like I said, if you're not feeling it, then you're not working hard enough. And we'll do one more. Ooh, good. And then release. Give your bum a little wiggle. Now we're coming into the front and back one. So this is the more challenging one that's going to get your balance. Don't be put off by that. You just got to try and work a little harder to stabilize. So leg is hip height. Point as you bring your leg forward. Now make sure that your shoulders haven't pulled forward or they haven't rocked back. You're trying to keep that still. Flex. And then as you send the leg back, squeeze the back of your leg and your bum cheek. And then again, your shoulder might want to come forward. It's trying to counterbalance you. So pull the shoulder back, slide it down. Squeeze your bum cheeks, whoops, and then bring it forward. So flex, take it back. So we want to point as we go forward and flex as we go back. As we flex and go back, it helps to keep that knee straight. And again, what's happening with the hip? So is the hip rocking forward and back, or is it stable? We want it to be nice and stable so that the femur bone is moving inside of the hip without everything else moving. Good, last one. Like I said, don't be put off if you're off balance. It doesn't matter. That is working a load of your postural muscles. And then release. Ooh. Good. So we're coming into the circles now. We're nearly there, nearly there. Okay, so reach. Think of that little chalk between your toes. Start with baby circles. Can you control the hip? If you can you go bigger? You always want to work just outside of your comfort zone. If you work within the comfort zone, you're never going to get stronger. So find where it is a little bit wobbly, and then you've got to work harder to try and stop it wobbling. Oh, this is burning. Change direction. Just being aware of everything else in your body. Oh, last one. And then release. Ooh. Good. So, coming into the last one. Legs are bent, feet under the bum. Have your hand on the floor or the hip. Like I said, especially for the oyster, I find you get a lot of feedback from this hand that's on the pelvis. So you need to be having your fingers in the bone over there. Gently squeezing your feet together, allow the top knee to come up and then hold it there. And then just feel, is that hip rolling back or is it staying stacked above the bottom one? Get to the point where it feels like it's rolling back and then squeeze your bum and your thighs, and then can you take a little further and then release down. So I can feel my neck. Take it up, squeeze, take it a little further, and then bring it down. So just carry on with that. So people always think that Pilates and yoga teachers are perfect. We've all got our own issues. In fact, we've probably got more issues than you do. Top knee goes up. Find that point where you want to, where it starts to move. Squeeze. Can you go a little further? Oh, good. Last one. Take it to the point. Squeeze. Lock that hip. Try and go further. Oh. Phew. Phew, 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 phew. Coming onto the back. And then we do that nice stretch. I say nice. Okay. So taking the right leg over the left, make sure your ankle is on the outside of the knee, and just for a moment, just push. Oh, that feels like heaven. It's one of those horrible but nice pains. Just push. Oh, this is the side that I have to do a lot of work on. So you may find this is as far as you want to go. That is perfectly fine. Always listen to your body. If you feel like you want to go a little deeper, bring your left knee up towards the chest. Take your hands, thread it either behind your left leg, or if you can reach front of your left leg. Like I said, I've got long arms. It's not that I'm particularly flexible in that area. It's just that I've got the arm. And then you can push your right elbow to the inside of your knee if you've got a little bit more space. And then just gently drawing that knee in towards you, keeping your right foot flexed to support that knee. And then make sure that your left knee stays in line with the shoulder so you haven't rocked over to the side. And just breathe. So remember, we're stretching. We don't want to force it. But what I find sometimes, if you're quite tense, you kind of lock the hip. So just take a deep breath. Have a big sigh out. And as you sigh out, let your pelvic floor go, let everything go, and just gently draw that knee in. And you'll find a little bit of more space. Good. And then release that leg down, uncross your legs. And then from here, we're going to take the feet into butterfly feet. You can keep your head on a block, or you can have cushions or anything there. And just for a couple of breaths, a few breaths, we're just going to allow the hips to open up after all that hip work. So you can also stack blocks under you over there if you want to support the leg a little bit more. And then you can either gaze up to the ceiling or you can soften your eyelids. And just let your whole body go. Just let gravity support your body. Take a breath in through your nose and breathe right down into your belly. And then this long, gentle, but slow breath out. And let all the tension go with the breath out. Breathing in through your nose. Expand your rib cage and your belly. And then this long, gentle exhale. Taking your hands to the outside of your thighs and then just help your knees back up again. We're going to be rolling onto the side. Push yourself up and coming into a seated position. So if you wake up at midnight and find your bum really hurts, it'll be these. So like I said, they are fantastic hip strengtheners. If you're going in for a hip surgery, get doing these before you go, because the stronger you can make your muscles before your surgery, the quicker your recovery. And likewise, once you've had your hip replacement, a lot of these exercises will help your recovery as well. So I hope you enjoyed that Bernie Bum class, and I'll see you on the mat soon. Bye.